That's where in aspects of gender fluidity that I think it can be framed. Because like, you know, as a woman, you know, if I want to wear a suit to church or, you know, like just look a certain way instead of going for the feminine kind of like, you know, I think that is more power to you.
What we're going to unpack is masculinity versus femininity. Why femininity? Why is everyone so confused? Are we losing the balance or finding something new? Angle, contrast. I shouldn't have said angle. I'm reading word for it. So, wait.
So what's the angle, Dennis?
Oh, thank you for asking. It says contrast tradition versus fluidity and how it affects dating, creativity, and self-worth. So specifically, tradition is kind of how we fall back on the Bible usually, versus fluidity is either taking concepts of a traditional standpoint or just creating your own standards. It says, and how does it affect your dating? And then your creativity, and then your self-worth. So we're going to unpack that with our first question. It says, what does masculinity / femininity mean to you? So because we have two guys here, and we have three ladies here, I think it's just fair that you all say what femininity is, and we say what masculinity is. Just so that we can get the what is the saying? The bit out the horse's mouth or whatever the case might be. I don't know.
I don't know that.
I don't know it.
I'm from Alabama and I don't know that.
So I don't know. Like the chicken out the hen?
I just
The egg out the chicken? I don't know. Okay.
What are you doing to the animal?
I don't know. But femininity.
Femininity.
Mm-hmm.
What is femininity?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you would be able to describe it in 2 sentences? Not something that you have to explain.
Right, I'm like trying to feel it if I have a definition for femininity or if it's just.
Yeah, I gotta come with it. I want to know what femininity is.
You know what? What I think would be great, because I don't think I know how to answer that question.
I don't know if I know.
But I feel like
right.
Nobody knows. That's why people come up with their own definitions. That's
Hold on.
why I
What you
identify.
mean?
That's what I was gonna say. I want to know what Lulu said.
So
that's
it.
What is the? That's what I was
Dennis, you
going.
got him with that. I want to know.
Okay,
you can say it's too subjective. You can say like this is.
But let's hear what time. Let's hear what time.
And then
What is
someone else will be
masculinity?
like,
So wait.
You have your answer?
Yeah.
Hey, I got it.
We running out of time.
Oh,
All right, so it says femininity, qualities or attributes regarded as characteristics of women or girls. So
that's traditional.
that's traditional. Thank you so much. So with that being said,
Interesting.
and then I guess the same definition would be qualities or traits characteristic to men.
Mm-hmm.
I would say specifically, and even if it was something from a traditional standpoint, I would say in 2 sentences, the ability to build a foundation for the people around you, period, and to lead and be strong for those around you.
okay.
I would copy that for feminism.
I would say,
Why not?
I don't have sense, but loving, nurturing, caring. Nurturing doesn't necessarily have to be mothering, but just being, I would say, women, we are nurturers in a way. You know what I mean? So I would say loving, nurturing. I don't even want to say emotional, but it's just, I would say emotionally intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not everybody emotionally intelligent. I ain't gonna say that.
Okay.
But
Fair.
be emotionally open, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody who pours into, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you say that? Okay.
Providing masculinity for me is providing and walking in your purpose.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about you,
You
Mike?
say interesting?
It's interesting. I'm
Why you say interesting?
listening.
I think that could, I mean, those are the same attributes that go for women too, I would say.
That's what I'm saying. All of it.
Okay, so
It's all it's
So-
subjective.
I feel
It
like
is
it's
subjective.
like masculinity and
can do
femininity is
Yeah.
the method by which you do the method by which you treat these different relationships, right? So I'm bringing God back into it because I am just going to do that. So because God is
That's fair.
feminine and masculine. I think every human being is some part, both of those things.
Okay.
And I feel like it's
She's
a
not.
methodology. I don't know that it's like a,
She's not.
because a man can very much so be a nurturer and a caregiver and should be to his wife and to his children.
Period.
And so, but it's like the way that a man is going to do it is not the way that a woman is going to do it. But you're both responsible for nurturing the child, right? And so, same in a relationship. Like, a woman is not going to love a man in the same way that a man is going to love a woman. But, the differences in the way that you do it are what fulfills the other person in that category. You know what I mean? Like, I'm, a woman is gonna, rub your back and ask you about your day, and like they're gonna have like a certain kind of like softness, and there's like a way that they go about the nurturing of a man. And then a man, like, it's just it's I think it's the method. I think
That's subjective too, though, because I mean, I can do that if I be like, hey, what's up? What you doing? You know what I mean? So it's subjective. Like, I feel like just that question of what is masculinity, what is femininity,
It's hard to say.
whatever that is, what is that? That also makes a divide, because like she said, we have both. Like, I definitely feel, I know all of us girls, when we pick up that big old water pack and we take it in the house by ourselves, be like, hell yeah, I feel like a man.
literally happened earlier today.
So I think it's, and then, every now and then, if you want your woman to help you be the little spoon, you be like, I feel kind of good, So I like, you can say that's being feminine, but I think it's all subjective.
Okay, let's dig deeper, because I think you guys read my outline. I think you guys did. All right, so.
I did, but I didn't know what I was going to be in.
Oh, yeah. So.
I read it, but I.
But with that being said, though, you answered the question, can you be both? Let's dig deeper. It says, is gender energy? I wouldn't say energy, but I wouldn't say roles either. But we're just going to say, is gender energy? Because by definition, apparently to Google, characteristics subjective to that particular gender. So is it innate or is it taught?
Is gender
Innate or taught? Is it on the inside of you from birth or is it taught? Gender energy, specifically. I don't like the way that this was phrased.
For example.
So, for example, is who taught you how to be feminine? And everybody's going to say their mom.
What are the examples?
Give the exact feminine characteristic you're talking about.
So, who is your leadership? Like, who taught you how to be feminine?
No.
Well, that's
what
the
is
thing.
the feminine thing?
No. So we're saying that
feminine.
it can be both. But if we're peeling back the layers, what is the thing that you feel like makes you the most feminine? And if it is just the fact that you were born a woman, that's fine. Or do you think that let's just say I'm a caring person, I'm a nurturer. Where did you get that? And like E-Rob said, or like you said, Maya, like you can in fact do both. But I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you. From a masculine standpoint, I get that from my dad.
I don't think that. I think it's both. I think it's innate and it's also taught, but at the same time, what is like, because a lot of things that I learned growing up was learned by getting my own understanding or either reading the word of the Bible, because my parents in some ways weren't being in their roles or whatever they're supposed to be as parents.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like some things I had to learn how to do because I had to do it. It was survival. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I learned from my mom to do this. I learned from my dad to do this. It was just like life taught me to get your ass up. You got to do it.
Okay.
So I mean, like some men may not like me because I'll be like, they're like, you want to move this table? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna pick it up right then and there and go. They're like, put it down. I'm like, no, you taking too long. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do it, because I had to do what I'm used to just doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna wait for someone to do it for me, because I had many months where I waited for someone to do something for me, and the people who were supposed to do something for me wasn't doing it for me. Okay. So it's like, I think it can be innate, it can be taught, but I think life, it depends on your experiences in life of what you're talking. Because I remember being told that I was too rough. Like, okay, I guess too rough don't mean that I'm feminine. But then that's not the same thing. Like, you know, every man don't have the same, like, I guess, view of what is feminine or what is too masculine or like.
So
I have a
basic-
question now for you then.
Wait,
Do you feel like having, because this is like, and this is like a kind of a common theme, specifically with Black women, like because the people in my life did not come through in the way that they were supposed to when I was a child. Now I am going to care for myself and do things for myself, and because I have to, like the strong Black woman, I'm gonna do it because nobody else is gonna do it. Do you feel like kind of a part of marriage is letting that go and being in a safe enough place where you can relinquish a lot of those duties to the man you're with, to husband? Like, I know, yeah, man, I could furnish this whole house, I could build this, I could, get the car set up, I could do all the things, I'm capable of it.
Yeah.
But do you feel like now that you're married that, like, how has that transition been, like, to be able to maybe, like, relinquish some of those duties?
Yeah, I have to. Like because, and he knows it's extremely hard for me, especially because I like things very specifically. I may have a little OCD, I don't know, but I like things very specifically. And sometimes he will literally have to run to beat me to do it, to make me, like, not do it. I'm like, okay. Thank you. You got it. You know, but there's definitely, like, that is
a part of it.
Very tough. Because I have anxiety from those things too. So it's like, it may not be me just trying to, man through it and do it. It may just be me being anxious that it's not getting done.
Sure.
So yeah, that is
like a factor.
Okay, so that kind of actually feeds into what I was about to piggyback off of as well. I actually really like the way that you unpack that.
Oh, thank
because of the fact of life being the teacher. And I feel like that circles back to what you were saying about God. And so is it innate or taught? Technically, it can be taught, but by the way that we were designed and created by God, he put it on the inside of us already.
Yes.
So, yeah. I actually like I really like the way that you unpack that. So going down a little bit more though, we are going to, and this is probably for E-Rob and Manny. It says, does fluidity feel freeing or confusing?
Fluidity, what?
Gender fluidity. People picking and choosing, identifying as cats and dogs and non-binary and all that other stuff. And it's like, okay, well, we got 2 bathrooms, pick one, I guess. And pick the right one. So does fluidity feel freeing or confusing?
It depends on who you are and what you want and how you grew up.
Okay.
Because, like, if you're, like, super traditional and just kind of, like, grew up with maybe strict rules and ideas that you have to follow, and then fluidity comes in, you're looking at it like, this is wrong, things must be this way. But then I think if you didn't grow up like that, you're just like, that's your problem. Or if you just kind of changed your opinion on how things should go, I guess what's okay and what's not. And who are you to say what's okay and what's not? That's really, I feel like, God's job. So I think if it's confusing or it comes to a point where it's offending you, it's because I think you're taking a responsibility you shouldn't be taking, which is to judge someone.
Okay.
Or to, I guess, kind of like control what someone else is doing. You can't. If that's what they want to do and that's what they want to claim, that's you.
Okay.
No, that's just how I personally feel about it. So I am free because that's not my...
That's not your lane, basically.
Not even that that's not my lane.
Okay.
But it's also not... Someone else doing it is not my problem.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
I guess maybe that's the same thing, yeah.
Okay. Very good. You
Yeah, I mean, we have the power of free will in life and certain circumstances and things that have happened to people over the course of their life shape them into who they are. And I am not to judge no one who wants to live the way they live. We're in 2025 now, and you have certain people in positions of power who identify certain things.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, in order How can I say it? I wouldn't say in order to be successful, but I would just say in the world right now, it's just different. People just do different things, and they are who they are. You know, I show love to everybody as long as you don't disrespect me. We good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my take.
In terms, you want to
I feel like fluidity is perceived to be freeing.
Okay.
I think that society recent society really, because this is not, this hasn't been a thing for a long time. But I feel like fluidity, like gender fluidity, is intended to make people believe that they are free. Even though I know I just said that like people are both, but then you have like biology, right?
Okay.
So you are born male or you're born female, right? That already is, people want to fight that, but you're one or the other. You came here with one set of parts or the other set of parts. And even though you may be both feminine and masculine, you have one set of parts. And fluidity, for me, gender is you are a man or you're a woman. People want to separate gender and sex. I feel like they're the same thing in my mind. Like, you are a man or you're a woman. And fluidity, identifying as something that you didn't come here as, is like an illusion. It is not freeing. You're just trying to
What if you didn't identify in it? You just wanted to tap more into, like, let's say a man didn't identify as a woman, but they just want to tap more into their feminine side than their masculine side because they have both, right? And they
I feel like it's fine.
See, that's what I was going to ask. Are we
That
referring
feels
to gender fluidity as the expression of what we,
Yes.
Identifying as
or are you
not what I
talking
was
specifically about? No, I'm talking expression of outwardly what I'm doing, what I'm wearing, and stuff like that. But y'all are kind of touching on like trans topics. Like, so are we talking about gender fluidity in like your sexual orientation or gender is,
right,
and your sex and stuff like that, what you were saying, or are we just talking about in what you're presenting?
So this is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The way you unpack that. I'm gonna start saying that every podcast.
Oh,
so like literally the way that you unpack it, great question by the way. As a result of there being so many different facets, there are a lot of things to the point of men, women, and then it's like, okay, you can express yourself outwardly, you can express yourself internally now with the procedures. And then, there's everything else up under the sun for that. I don't think, and it goes into kind of like what you guys were saying when you said, as a result of not necessarily like knowing for like me, I be boy, I like girl. It's like, I don't know. But I don't think that there's anything that says that you can't express yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody like the flare pants. And, at one point, somebody be like, oh, that's gay. And by gay, like, homosexual. But yet still, like, now, that's a fashion statement. And I feel like Atlanta specifically, with Thugs and everybody, crop tops and all that other stuff, they were the ones who really, like, that fluidity outwardly, the things that would have been thought to be feminine before. Yeah, they're the toughest guys in the street.
Yeah.
Thug is on the cover wearing the dress. The dress was expensive.
Yeah.
But he wore the dress. And he likes the gals.
I do think it can be freeing in what aspect you're saying, because if you're a guy who likes the style of crop tops, because men was wearing crop tops in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And they was looking good, okay?
Abs and everything. Yeah.
It is what it is. But and so like a guy who likes that as a fashion statement and then wears it, and then to be told that he's gay because he likes a certain fashion statement, like that's where in aspects of gender fluidity that I think it can be free. Because like, as a woman, if I want to wear a suit to church, or like just look a certain way instead of going for the feminine kind of like, I think that is more power to you. Like, there may be some, like, even like students who have to, like, I'm thinking of some students who I know who have to like come show up for like a banquet, and they told, okay, girls wear black dresses, guys wear this, and she want to come in a black suit. That's, you know what I mean?
More power
like,
to it, right?
Like, if that's what you feel comfortable with, that's, and I feel like Like there are people who literally, women who will only wear skirts or dresses and stuff like that. Or
Okay.
like at a point in time where women wearing pants was weird, you know? So that's why I feel like gender fluidity can be freeing, because it lets you know, like, hey, I do not look like less of a woman if I decide to wear this today. If I decide to tap into more of my masculine side, or if he don't look like less of a man, if he taps into his feminine side. Like if he wears the color pink, like I know men to this day that will not wear the color pink. And it's just like,
Silly.
you know? So I think it can be freeing in that way. But there are other aspects to it that can be a difficult topic, I would say, to even discuss.
Okay. So I like that. Externally, I feel like that's an easier conversation to have. And I feel like that's kind of one of those things, like a conversation that everybody can have.
Yeah. But like Manny said, it's not, I don't feel like if you look at somebody and you just think, because they identify as this, I hate you, I can never
Definitely no hate.
understand that.
Definitely
You know,
no hate.
like I can never like, because you want to be gender fluid, I hate this. Like I just
Crazy.
Yeah, that's to me, like how you said, like I can't understand how you can harbor that kind of hate towards a person.
Exactly.
You know? So yeah.
Okay. So let me see. So it's not confusing. It's free. At least in the aspect of gender fluidity.
Self-expression. Yes.
Okay. I like that.
Sure.